For you behold the Son of God as but a victim to attack by fantasies, by dreams, and by illusions he has made, yet helpless in their presence, needful only of defense by still more fantasies and dreams, by which illusions of his safety can comfort him. Right? It's saying here what I just said, right? That this is a dream. This is an absolute nightmare we are living, and as we continue to defend, we're defending with more fantasies and more dreams and more illusions. It doesn't help the situation. It keeps you locked in the cyclical cycle of uncertainty and annoyance. Okay? Defenselessness is strength. It testifies to recognition of the Christ in you. Perhaps you will recall the Course maintains that choice is always made between his strength and your own weakness, seen as apart from him. Right? So basically it's saying in our defenselessness is our strength, because it testifies to the Christ in our brother and the Christ in ourselves. And when we choose to see only the Christ in our brothers and Christ in ourselves, we recognize that these attack thoughts of our brothers are simply just their ego mind. It is not really who they are, but it's coming from their mind that is separate from God, and we can look past that, and we do not get affected by it, and we don't have to defend ourselves, because we know that what they're saying is folly, right? And we know that whatever belief they may have about us or about themselves is folly, unless they recognize and remember that they are a child of God, that they are Christ, as I am, as we all are, right? And as we can see, only that is when all of these problems dissipate, okay? Defenselessness can never be attacked because it recognizes strength so great, attack is folly. Or a silly game a tired child might play when he becomes too sleepy to remember what he wants. Defensiveness is weakness. It proclaims you have denied the Christ and come to fear his Father's anger. What can save you now from your delusion of an angry God, whose fearful image you believe you see at work in all the evils of the world? But what illusions could defend you now, when it is but illusions which you fight? Awesome. Right? So Jesus is saying that being defensive is our weakness. Okay? Being defensive is our weakness, because it proclaims that we have denied Christ, which is who we are, and we give power to, believing that our Father created this torturous and angered world, this fearful, fearful world. But then what we remember as we start to remember who we are is that God did not create this world and everything that is within it, but in fact he created us as souls, right? And from those souls who have forgotten who they are, they have created this world in the mind that is separate from God, and therefore it's based on hierarchy, it is based on money, it is based on attack, it is based on anger and war, it is based on sin, on being afraid that we have sinned and that this is our way of getting back to us for our sin is living in this hellish world. But all that is false. It is illusions. And what he is saying here is that when we defend ourselves, we are but defending illusions with illusions. This world is an illusion. This body is an illusion. These thoughts are an illusion. The only thing that is true is us as souls, us as children of God, who have the power of God with us and in us because we are in God. That never changes. That is a fact. That is a truth. And it never goes away. And we become defenselessness. We become defenseless. When we remember ourselves as children of God. And we defend when we believe ourselves to be this weak body who can suffer in this world and die. Okay? It says, we will not play such childish games today. For our true purpose is to save the world, and we would not exchange for foolishness the endless joy our function offers us. We would not let our happiness slip by because a senseless fragment of a dream happened across our minds, and we mistook the figures in it for the Son of God, its tiny instant for eternity. That's it. Yeah, the last sentence here, we will not let our happiness, our true happiness that comes from us as souls, to slip on by because a dream has crossed our mind. Okay. We mistook figures in this world for the Son of God, and it's false. It's false. We cannot be this body and think that we are Son of God at the same time. We cannot do that. We cannot make that false mistake. Right? Because when we do that, then we are feeling attack and depression and sadness and suffering and all this stuff, right? We look past dreams today and recognize that we need no defense because we are created unassailable, without all thoughts or wish or dream in which attack has any meaning. Now we cannot fear, for we have left all fearful thoughts behind. And now in defenselessness we stand secure, serenely certain of our safety now, sure of salvation, sure we will fulfill our chosen purpose as our ministry extends its holy blessing through the world. Today I had someone say to me, "Preacher Brittany," when I commented on one of my friends' posts. And it's funny because it's kind of what happens. It comes off in this certainty and this conviction in which I speak, and people hear that. And generally speaking, people associate those people who speak with such a conviction as like motivational speakers or, pastors at a church or whatever it may be, all these labels that people have for it, right? So it's really funny when people can see that in you, right? And what happens though, that as I share these words of truth, as I share these words of God, they reverberate throughout the whole world, like endlessly extending, exponentially extending, right? They never stop. They go throughout the whole world so that we may save the world through a holy thought of God. And as we accept a holy thought of God in our mind, this will illuminate the darkness and allow us to release these defenses so that we may become defenselessness in the knowingness of who we are as a child of God. Okay. Who is holier? Okay. God's ministers have chosen that the truth be with them. Amen. Who is holier than they? Who could be sure that his happiness is fully guaranteed? And who could be more mightily protected? What defense could possibly be needed by the ones who are among the chosen ones of God by his selection and their own as well? Seriously, what defense could possibly be needed by those who have been chosen among God and us as well who choose that as our part? Like seriously, like when we know ourselves to be children of God and we accept our part in God's plan for salvation by simply just being who we are, how can we not feel safe? How can we not feel protected? How can we not feel the sense of defenselessness? We don't need to defend ourselves. We know who we are. We know who God is. We know that we follow the laws of God and not the laws of men. It's a conviction. It's a surety. It's a knowing. It says, "Be still a moment, and in silence think how holy is your purpose, how secure you rest, untouchable within its light. God's ministers have chosen that the truth be with them. Who is holier than they? Who could be sure then his happiness is fully guaranteed? And who could be more mightily protected? What defense could possibly be needed by the ones who are among the chosen ones of God by his election and their own as well?" So I recognize that I just jumped and I reread what I read before, but that's okay. Apparently we needed to reread that. It is the function of God's ministers to help their brothers choose as they have done. God has elected all, but few have come to realize his will is but their own. And while you fail to teach what you have learned, salvation waits, and darkness holds the world in grim imprisonment. Nor will you learn that light has come to you, and that your escape has been accomplished. For you will not see the light until you offer it to all of your brothers, As they take it from your hands, so will you recognize it as your own. Yes, I was sharing this all day yesterday to all the people that I was seeing. I was like, well, do you want to know that you have it? Share it, give it. You will know that it is your own then, because your brothers will accept it. And as your brothers accept it, you recognize that you are one, and it just increases your own conviction in yourself and what you already have within you. That's it. Give as you would receive, my friends. Salvation can be thought of as a game that happy children play. It was designed by one who loves his children, and who would replace their fearful toys with joyous games, which teach them that the game of fear is gone. That's what this world is to me now. It's a game. It's a fun playground that we have. And every single instant and every single moment is a lesson for us to learn. And we recognize that if we're feeling anything but the perfect peace and love of God, that we are using our mind of ego. And therefore we can question it and ask to see it differently. You know, we don't have to be defending our own ego mind. We do not have to be defending our own illusions, because they are false. They mean nothing. They will not bring us out of this hellhole by believing them. The only way we can get out of this hellhole is by remembering who we are, right? And as we remember who we are, we can bring heaven to earth instead of being submerged in this hellish world. The game is over. Now a quiet time has come in which we put all the toys of guilt and lock our quaint and childish thoughts of sin forever from the pure and holy minds of heaven's children and the Son of God. Okay, it's time to stop playing in the hellish box of this war and sin-infested world. Time is over. It's time to put all the toys of guilt, being ashamed, judgment, fear, anxiety, lock them all away. They do not have to be so. They do not have to be there. They're completely unjustified. It comes from the mind that is separate, okay? We can now enjoy living a pure life in our holy minds that remind us that we are heaven's children and the sons of God. We pause but for a moment more to play our final happy game upon this earth. And then we go to take our rightful place where truth abides and games are meaningless. Holy shit, this is like what I opened up our prayer with, okay? Is that right now we are dreaming a dream of darkness, where we can kill each other and sin and, do all these hateful and nasty things to people and children, right? But this is a nightmare, okay? This is not the truth. But as we recognize that we are sons of God and holy children, then what happens is we switch this darkened dream to a happy dream. And then we start to live a happy dream on earth, where we all share, and we join in quality and cooperation, and we love each other as we love ourselves, and we give as we would receive. No longer taking, no longer separating, no longer better than others because of the amount of money that you have or don't have. That's bullshit, Like, the truth is who we really are, not who we think that we are.